Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, Sonic Love. So firstly, I just want to say thank you for the views, likes and comments on the last video. Really nice, thank you. It really does help out and help me reach a wide audience. So again, if you could hit the like and maybe consider subscribing, I will do lots more updates on Vita3K. On many different systems and handhelds. If you want me to do on phones, guys, let me know in the comments and I'll gladly accommodate that. But for today, we'll test out the RG353M and RG353V and also the Powkiddy X18. So without further ado, let's get into the video and see the performance on these devices. So we're going to kick things off with the Powkiddy X18S. We all know that this is a more powerful chipset, so what we're going to do is test it out and see what the performance is like. Then we'll move on to the 353 devices after that. Okay, so here we have it. Clamshell design. I'm sure a lot of people love it or hate it, this device. I don't think it's too bad. Everybody's opinion is different. So let's go into some gameplay. So let's test out. If you want to see how to install Vita3K, I will leave a video link in the description and I will show you step by step how to install it, and it's pretty much the same on every device. So let's kick things off with some light stuff. So let's go with Shovel Knight. Let me just lower the camera, guys, so we can go into the screen. So the only thing that I noticed different about this one, guys, is the fact that halfway through the first level, the audio started to glitch out really bad. But performance-wise, this runs really well. And it looks really nice on here, actually. Sorry about the glare on the screen, nothing I can do about it. Let's test out some Street Fighter X versus Tekken.
Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
I'll be done with you before tea time.
Hopefully as it gets better optimized, maybe it will become a lot better, hopefully. Or as I say, I'm looking into drivers and stuff, so hopefully with certain drivers we'll get it running a lot better. One of my subscribers did give me a tip to a video to watch for it, so once I watch it and learn a little bit more, I'll be able to do a video on it. It's still playable, but it still has all the special effects missing. But if you do own the Powkiddy X18, it is playing at least. What a move. I love this game. Yep, so that's Tekken run on it. Let's try another game. This game actually runs really well. I am doing a video on testing as many PsVita games as possible. I think I've downloaded 20 so far that are sort of playable. and okay and play really well. So I will be doing a video, and I will be doing that on the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. Hopefully I'll get a lot of games that you can just already download, so you don't have the luxury of testing it out yourself. As I say, the Binding of Isaac runs really well. Very strange game, but very addictive. One thing I do like about the X18S and is the screen. The black levels are really nice. It really is. It gives a really dark image on the background for the blacks, which makes everything pop out. The screen is actually quite nice. I haven't played it for a while, so I'm sure you can see where my iPhone, it does show just how dark the image can get. If there is any more updates, I think this is I'm using the latest build. I think there's been 3 builds so far, so it's something you're going to have to check in regularly on the actual Vita3K website. It's very easy to update.
I got a report that shots were fired.
Excuse me.
It was nothing.
I'm telling you, it was Drake. You tell your men to up their game, or there's gonna be a lot less of them around come payday.
Now, it's a strange one, this, with Uncharted, because sometimes it runs really smooth, and then sometimes it's incredibly janky. Like, it's using, like, frame skip times 20 million. It really is an odd one. And I've noticed that the effects seem to be better on here, like the lighting effects. But again, as you can see, it doesn't run the best. Pretty much like the Odin Pro. Hopefully this can be rectified.
Get up there. Of course, that's easier said than done.
See, like swinging across, it runs really smooth. And then all of a sudden just go really janky again. But if you've never played this game and you want to check it out, at least now you have the opportunity to do so. I'm also finding per system, some games run better than others on different systems. It's quite strange. It's a bit all over the place at the moment, this emulator. But it is new, and I'm sure over time it will be better optimized.
Kill him on sight.
Can you see now like how really slow and janky it is?
Bastards.
It's not very good at all. You can see now that it really does struggle.
Drake, get her! Passive's dead.
Okay, so I'm going to leave it there for the X18S. Love to know your thoughts, and do you have one? Have you tested it out? Will you be testing it out? But yeah, it's not the best, but there is still quite a few games that do run really, really well. So it's just nice to have that experience with it, I think. Okay, time for the 353V and the RG353M. I'm not too sure whether the aspect ratio has made it a lot more difficult to be more compatible with it, maybe. I have gone to controls. As you can see, it's all working. It was a bit finicky. I did have to like close it down, install one firmware, then close it down because the actual file menu kept crashing. But eventually got there. I just reset it and then restarted the process to get it up and running to where it is. But it is very, very difficult to pinpoint where you want to tap and use controls. There doesn't seem to be a way of mapping the controls to this unit. I have tried, if you scroll down from the top, there is Xbox, and then if you tap it, it will change it to Switch. This doesn't seem to be making any difference in order to be picked up and recognized. So another thing is the touchscreen itself works with the menu system, and it also works with choosing a game and the settings themselves. But the touchscreen controls when you go into the game do not seem to be working. So let me give you an example. But as far as running it, it is running. As soon as Tekken, Street Fighter and Tekken loads up, you will see what I mean. But you can see that it's actually still in 16:9 aspect ratio because it's missing the right analog stick and also the buttons and the right button. So I think this is the reasons why. I'm not too sure this is something that we can do on our level, but I think this is something the developers themselves may have to look into, is actually getting a few of these retro hand systems and maybe doing a little bit of work for it. But then I'm not too sure. I'm not a dev. I don't know. It is letterbox. So you should be able to just tap the start, but it doesn't seem to be working. When you tap the start here, nothing seems to be happening. So I'm not too sure whether where you tap, it might, see now I went here and it worked. So there we go. So maybe the orientation of where you press is not exactly where it should be. So that's interesting. I didn't try that last night. Okay, so we've got a bit of a development already. It was going to show you that it didn't work, but so let's see if we can actually identify how far. So if I tap here, will it say yes? See, I was just tapping this because obviously these controls, they may look like they're working, but they're not. Nothing's moving. And as I say, the controllers aren't being picked up. Now these are the only two devices that I've had this issue with. Everything else, it's automatically mapped. Yeah, so let's see if there is an actual pointer to off access to it. So we'll start it. Yeah, so this is the problem that we have. Yes, it's running. Yes, we can get it all set up, but the controls are not mapped. And at the moment, I've gone through all the options and there's no way of remapping the controls. I've tried using a Bluetooth controller and seeing if that would work. Yes, it worked on the Android side, but then once I loaded into Vita3K, it then didn't respond, and it was the same as this, where it just wasn't being picked up. So I'm not too sure whether it has wireless support in the emulator itself to do so, but this is interesting. So I will continue to mess around with this, guys, just to see if there is some part or place where you can actually get it to work. It'd be interesting just to see the actual performance of the games. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with the RG353V. Okay, and here we have the RG353M. I'm still having the same issues with this, exactly the same as the 353V, where if you load a game, it works. So for these two devices here, it really does seem to be an odd one. Nice to see it running, but it's just a shame that it's not working properly. Yeah, I'd love to know how you're getting on with this emulator, guys, and what you're actually testing it on. Like, what systems have you got and you're using? I'd love to know. Now, the touchscreen here works, but I think this is just general if you just tap it, but it just seems to be all over the place at the moment. And I'll show you what you mean, that even if you could use these on-screen controls, how the options on the right hand side, you can't, say for instance, if it's saying to go back out of a menu and it's underneath the analog stick on the right, you won't be able to touch it because it inputs the analog, not what's on the screen underneath. But again, as I say, it actually works, and it works quite well. I'd love to just see the performance running.
I got a report when shots was fired by the It was nothing. I'm telling you, it was Drake. You tell your men to up their game, or there's gonna be a lot less of them around come payday.
It's great to see it running on here though. So here's the problem that we have. So I need to press the backspace button here, but I can't because the controller is in the way. So if I go to the edge of the camera, where obviously I can still choose the camera, or the book itself in the middle, or maybe even the page. So because there's a gap there, I can choose that, but I can't actually choose this option here. Yeah, so again, it literally is the same problem as what it was with the RG353V, which is a shame. Yeah, so I wish I had better news on the side of the 353, guys, but unfortunately I don't. I don't know if you have had any better luck. Let me know in the comments if you've had any workarounds, or you've found a way, or if somebody else on YouTube has found a way of doing it. Let me know in the comments, that'd be fantastic. Obviously, I will be doing a long play video of workable and playable games on the Retroid Pocket 3, 505, and also on the Odin. Hopefully we'll have some more updates as we go further into the weeks and months, but I will be constantly updating this on the systems to see whether we get improvements in performance, and it'd be nice to see if we do. A like would be fantastic, guys. Please consider subscribing if you want to see more retro handing goodness, and as always, take care.